Hey everyone out there, VCers, Tony here. Appreciate you stopping in to my channel, Tony's LPs R Us. Today we're going to talk about this reissue, High Fidelity RHINO series. This is the second Cars LP and the second Cars LP to be done by RHINO. I'm going to talk about this. I'm also going to talk about an issue I had with it. Later on, I'll get into that. We're going to talk about the pressing first and the packaging. As you can see, it has an OB strip, which slides off. I've unwrapped this earlier obviously before I listened to it. And as you all know from seeing other reviews of this great record, 180-gram vinyl cut from original analog master tapes by Kevin Gray at Coherent Audio, pressed at Optimal Media, heavyweight gatefold jacket, which I'll show again. Exclusive insert with commentary by Roy Thomas Baker, one of the cars, and limited number edition of 5,000. So that's the cool part about these. These are truly limited, 5,000. This will sell out. If you don't jump on it, it will sell out. It's really great. My number is a early number, 1186 of 5,000, and the numbers are backed. You can't see the number if the record isn't open. The OB strip covers that. Here's the gatefold. And this mirror is one of the original inserts, which I'll show you from my OG copy. So this is a really nice heavy jacket, really nice thick spine for those who put your records in the shelf. That's the way you find these later on. Now I'm going to show you my OG. This is an OG. This is a George Marino mastering. This was mastered by George Marino at Sterling Sound, NYC. Unfortunately, George passed away, I believe, in 2012 at only age 62. And you all know his legacy. He actually mastered the 7-inch for Hey Jude, the Beatles' Hey Jude, which I believe at that time was, I'm thinking the one side of the 45 was over 7 minutes long. I'm not quite sure. I don't have that down. He also mastered Double Fantasy for John. And he also mastered Live Peace in Toronto, the John Lennon live album with Clapton and Yoko and that whole thing from Canada. That was a limited run, and I think it's still available now as a reissue. Here's the OG label from Elektra. This was released on June 13th, 1979. I remember it vividly. I had the cassette, listened to it in the car all the time. I bought the record, but I taped my own cassette. And here's the original insert, a lyric page, and the picture of the band, which mirrors the new insert or the new gatefold. I'll talk about the insert later. All the RHINOs come with an insert. So just let me give you my first impressions. First of all, the way I listened to these, I listened to the OG once, and then about a week later, I received this because it took a while to get to me. As far as the packaging goes, I had no issues with the packaging this time. As you can see, no damage to this record. It was packaged in a fairly secure mailer, and it came all the way from California, so it had a long trip. I believe FedEx was the mailer. So this time I was pretty happy. I've heard of some issues online. I think RHINO is trying to be more careful with the way they package their albums. But it did take a long time once I ordered it to get to me. But I still had a low number, so I'm pretty happy with that. Here we have the great cover work by Antonio Vargas. And as you all know, Vargas did work for Esquire and more famously for Playboy magazine. I'm not sure when he started. He may have started at the beginning in 63, 64 with Playboy. But every Playboy issue has a beautiful painting, one-sheet painting. Sometimes there were a two-page painting of one of Vargas's models. And she had a little bit less clothes on than this one, as you could see. Now, this is a girl from, I believe, she may have been from New Jersey or California, but I believe the car she was on was a painting or a photo that one of the cars took of her. They were dating. Her name was Candy Moore. And if you look at that photo online, this is exactly the way it was posed. And Vargas took that photo and drew this. And that's a Ferrari underneath her, or should I say a very lucky Ferrari underneath her. It's a 365 Ferrari G plus, I believe it is. And Candy Moore was also on another album cover by Rick James called Street Songs, and she was wearing a red shirt in that. I haven't seen that. I don't have a Rick James record. I believe I have one Rick James record. But here again, this is the record. Let me show you the vinyl. Here's the original. And as I always do, I show you the wax, and then we talk about it. And I love the way RHINO has, you have a nice polyline black sleeve. And I like the way RHINO does their labels now. This is a red side, and that's a black side, and it has the tracks on side one. And this record is a lot of fun. It was their second record. I believe it peaked pretty high on Billboard, maybe number 3 in the U.S. And it had 2 singles, Let's Go and It's All I Can Do. But if you listen to the record, and if you're familiar with the record like I am, like I said, I had this record since I was in college. I have my original, and it's a George Marino. You could see it has still has a sticker on it. The sticker is actually on the shrink. This record still has its original shrink, and it had the clear sticker that was on post because there's no name printed on the record. Interesting. Let me see what this one has here. And see, well, that's interesting because in the Candy O, in this one, which I just thought about, this is printed on the record. The original OGs has a sticker on it, a clear sticker. So you could see that right there. And color-wise, it's pretty accurate as far as the reissues with the back. Backs are identical, just the different RHINO logo and things of that sort. But I'm going to talk about the what I got from listening to this record. First of all, like I said, I had no issues with the packaging. It did take a while to get to me, but it's not Amazon, and they're pretty busy. I'm sure they don't have a big enterprise. They're probably getting a lot of calls on this. Like I said, when this record was dropped, I waited a couple weeks and I thought about it. I listened to my copy. My copy was immaculate. I love the way it sounds. Unlike some I heard online that said it was a little light in the bass. I don't think mine was light in the bass, but we'll talk about the differences. The treble was very good on mine. It didn't sound bright on my system. Some systems I heard that it may have been too bright, but maybe because of my old ears, it wasn't over bright. I thought the treble and the acoustics of it, the ambient sound of that record was fine. But from what I got out of this record, when I played the original, like I said, it was just a fun record. You start to move when you hear this record. You start to tap. You get into it. And I know all these songs. I've been listening to them for 50 years or whatever. It's a very lush recording. And like I said, it's mastered by George Marino. And the original engineer was Jeff Workman, who worked, I believe he worked at Sterling. I think this is where this was mastered by George Marino at Sterling Sound in New York City. But this is a fun album. It's a kaleidoscope of great sounds. It reminds me a lot of, it's new wave, so it's going to remind you of the 80s, late 80s, early 80s new wave. This was 79. This was right on a cusp. It came out in June of 79, probably recorded sometime in 78, early 79, I imagine. But it has that fun feel to it, a lot of synthesizers, great organ, great drumming. Guitars come in when they need to be. It's not a guitar album, but there's a lot of guitar. From what I picked up on the original, like I said, very well balanced, nice stereo effects, really good soundstage. Rick Ocasek, lead vocalist, is right in the center, and the drums are either to the left or right. Sometimes they're behind him, depending on that particular mix. But just a fun record that makes you feel good, and it reminded me a lot of the early. I'm not a big '80s guy. I have a lot of '80s records. I have to start getting into that. I'm still working on the '70s. Maybe I'll work up to the '80s soon. But it reminded me a lot of Elvis Costello's records with the Attractions. It has that great, fun vibe to it. So that's it. Now, as far as the new record, I thought the new record was punchier. It was balanced. It could be turned up loud. It has zero noise. This record is dead quiet. The tracks were dead quiet. No intergroove noise in between songs. Again, a kaleidoscope of fun sounds. I thought the drumming was a little bit more prominent, but I thought the high end, some of the treble was maybe cut down. Maybe that's more of the style today, and they cut down on some of the treble. I seen that happening. Maybe the tape lost that aspect of the original recording. I'm not sure. I'm not an engineer. It may sound different on your system. This is just what I had. I listened to the new record twice. I listened to the original record 3 times. And like I said, listened to it a few weeks ago in anticipation of doing this review. But all in all, this is a well-balanced record. The songs jump out at you as soon as you lay that first track down, which is Let's Go, You Want to Go. Candy O is one of my favorites on here. It's the last track. And that sounds good, even though it's the last track all the way over as far as the physics go and geometry goes. It's still a great sounding track. RHINO does a great job in these for the money, for the value, $40 plus shipping or whatever your shipping is to your particular area. I'm thinking FedEx. It's all the same. But cheers from the King. And I just want to thank everyone before I go on for the subscriptions. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. It really helps us out. We have a lot of records to show. We have a lot. I try to do announcements. I try to do things, help you out. Here's the Obi strip again, which is really cool. Has the tracks on the back. And I'll just show you the inside again. But as far as an A-B comparison, I believe this is a little bit more punchier, more sonic with the low end, perhaps, more dynamic with the low end. But overall, very close to my original. If you heard my original, well, you would say, that's fine. I believe this could be the reissue. It sounds that good. And it shouldn't blow away the original, because the original by RHINO, that mastering, and the cars were just so tight. When I think about these guys, how they could just, put these songs together, and everybody has their own little tiny solos. Rick Ocasek's vocals, the drumming is just superb in this record. I noticed the drumming first, then I noticed the synths, and then the songs come in. A couple tracks even overlap each other while one track fades into another track. But just a really cool record produced by Roy Thomas Baker. And you see the cars there, the original cars, and the model, Candy Moore by Vargas. So let me talk about a little problem I had. So as you know, I talked about the insert, and it says here you get an insert with commentary by Roy Thomas Baker, and there's Roy Thomas Baker, the producer. So, and it's a copy of the tape box, since I've seen them online. The reason I say I've seen them online is because when I opened this, there was no insert, and I'm going crazy. I'm looking to see if this opens up. I'm looking in between, in here, because it's really a solid piece. I looked inside the insert. Did they fold it? And I really look forward to that insert because I want to do this review. But I thought it might be a nice little, not a warning, but some of you out there that don't open these right away, that keep a couple, one for a gift or one to save, be careful because this one didn't have an insert. I did contact customer service at RHINO, and they were very cool. The next day I got an email back that I anticipate that they're going to send me one out. I wasn't really too concerned because I know I could get one. I was just disappointed because I wanted to do this review and show the insert. But the insert is online. You could watch the insert, and here's the inner, but you can see that here. So just be concerned about that. You never know. It's just I'm not saying anything negative about RHINO. They're doing a great job. I really love this series. 5,000. Somehow I didn't get an insert in this one, and I hope to get one in a few days. And like I said, RHINO got right back to me. So that's my only problem with this. Other than that, it's cool. When don't you have problems? We just had an earthquake here in New Jersey. 10 o'clock, I'm out on the back deck listening to music. We're talking about, getting together. I invited my friend Don over to hang out, have a cup of coffee. And all of a sudden, we hear this rumble in the jungle. I feel the earth move under my feet. Whole lot of shaking going on. I go, what is that? And it was a 5.8 earthquake that emanated a few miles above where I live in Jersey. So that was cool. And after that, calmed down, no panic. Heard a few trees. We actually heard a tree come down, which was amazing. And it was really bizarre. My deck shook. The inside of the house shook. Don's wife called him. I was getting emails from my friend out up in the boondocks in New York that, are you guys okay? My friend Tony. I got a text from Tony, and I hope Tony's watching. Hi, Tony. Hi, you and your lovely wife. And so that was cool. So we're back now. We listened to the record again this afternoon, and we're doing this video. So there it is. You got two of them here. And the only difference is the original did not have Candio on the cover. And I'm sure the executives from Elektra did not like that. You want to see that cars when you go through when you're looking through records at a record store. And just like my Pink Floyd, The Wall, it has that clear sticker on it that says The Wall. So there you have it. I'm glad I missed that for this review. But once again, very well balanced. You could turn this up loud. There's no noise. Very low noise rate. I believe this is recorded or mastered a little bit quieter than my original. My original was a little louder with the same gain on my amp. So this was a little lower, but you could crank it up as far as you want. There's no distortion. There's no sibilance. Even at the last song, Candio, which is geometrically opposed because it's at the end, no sibilance. And that's it. And I'll just show you here. This is something else I noticed. If you could see there, the last track, the dead wax, you got that, whatever, I didn't measure it, but maybe ½ inch. And on the pressing here, it's almost identical, which is not common. It's almost identical. So, who knows? Mr. Kevin Gray's a master. He probably listened to this original a million times with who's ever the execs at RHINO. Like when Chad does it, they listen to it, they A/B it. And like I said, I have an original first pressing George Marino Sterling sound. It sounds amazing. This new one sounds amazing. You can't go wrong. If you're a Cars fan or if you're a fan of that 80s new wave punk fun record, like I said, it's a kaleidoscope with great sound, synth, organ, drums, the tom-toms, just 80s stuff, just pure 80s stuff. You can't go wrong. And you're probably hard pressed to find a really clean copy of this record online. You may get a VG Plus, but who knows? This record was played at parties. This record was played to death because I taped mine. I took care of my records. I have this record since I was, like I said, since I bought it when it was new. So, but that's not the case for a lot of people selling records online on eBay or whatever. They, first of all, they don't even know how to grade a record. So you're taking your chance. The only good thing with eBay is if you have a problem, you write to the person. Usually you send it back, get your money back, whatever. But I think you'd be hard pressed to pay a little less, the equivalent of what the new one costs, to get a really near mint copy of an OG. And the new one has great sound. I think the treble is a little cut back, EQ down, or whatever. I'm not an engineer, whatever the terminologies are. Bass is good. The drum is there. It's just a great record. So either way, great recordings. But if you don't have this record, pick up this new RHINO one, because like they say from another record company, buy now or cry later. And that's what you're going to do, because you're going to end up paying double for this record once it goes to eBay or people who sell records on Amazon, things like that. So thanks a lot. Keep rocking. Stay safe and be careful for the tremors if you're here by the Jersey area. And we'll see you later. One other thing I forgot to mention, please let me know if you don't have an insert. I went on the Facebook page. I kind of mentioned it. I even wrote to some people online individually to see if they got it. Everyone else has their inserts, and I'm hoping to get mine in a few days from customer service over at RHINO. They were very nice and very polite. They didn't grill me like who calls up and says I don't have an insert, So that's never happened to me before. So that's it. I hope you enjoy this review. Let me know what you think of this review. Let me know what you think when you play this record, if you did get it. And we'll see you soon. So thanks a lot. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like I said, it really helps us out. And we really appreciate the likes and all the subscriptions from everyone else who has joined the club. So keep rocking, and we'll see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.